So my name is Tiffany and I am the nap reader. This is my June wrap up and my July TBR. This month I read 13 books, so let's get started. I'm going to just be showing you these in chronological order of when I read them through the month. So here goes. The first book I read this month is Every Heart a Doorway by Seanan McGuire. This is a book about a school for like portal kids, which is like kids who go away through portals, doors to magical worlds, and then they're sent back and they can't get through to their world. So this is the school for them to go to kind of cope with being back in the real world. It follows our main character who was in a world of the dead, and she's going to this school and just kind of meets some characters and things go from there. I enjoyed this book. I was going through a reading slump, so it took me a while to read, and I think I rated it like 3.75 stars, but I definitely liked it enough that I'm going to be giving the second book a try, which is Down Among the Sticks and Bones, which follow Jack and Jill, which are characters in this book, and I think it's a prequel. And I really liked those characters, so I'm interested to see where that goes. All in all, I would recommend this. It's a short book, and I'm really glad I read it. The second book I read this month, or finished this month, I don't have the physical book. It is something I always am listening to an audiobook. So I always have an audiobook going. And this is Shadow of Night, which is the second book in the Discovery of Witches trilogy, which is a book about a witch named Diana, and she meets a vampire. It's pretty complicated. She meets a vampire. There's a manuscript they're looking for, but I really enjoy it. If you're looking for any audiobooks to listen to, the narrator for this is amazing. I can tell she will be sitting there doing dialogue between 7 characters, and I can tell without her saying who the characters are which character she's speaking for, because that's how good she is at voice acting. Really, I don't know if my rating is because the story is so great, which it is a great story. I really enjoy it. I would have enjoyed reading the books, but I feel like I'll probably give it 5 stars because the narrator is phenomenal. I forget her name right now. I will look it up and tag it at the bottom of the screen right here. But yeah, that was book 2. Book 3, which I'm still working on getting out of my reading slump at this point in the month, was Illuminae, which is by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I picked this up because I didn't feel like it would be conventional reading, and I'm pretty sure I can attribute getting out of my reading slump to reading this. It was a great book. Pretty sure I gave it 5 stars. I don't want to give you too much info, but it's a sci-fi novel. It's based in outer space. It's told in chats. They have transcriptions of surveillance footage. I just really enjoyed it, and it went by quickly because it was A, great, and B, since it is told in different formats, you kind of flip through the pages quicker because it's not a page full of words. And there's some pictures and stuff, but I really loved it, and I would highly recommend. My next book is a book that took me forever and a day to get through. I kept putting it off, and I think I rated it 2 stars. And this may surprise you, and you may throw things at the screen, but it is Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. When I first got on BookTube, I noticed that everybody was head over heels over the Mortal Instruments and the Infernal Devices and the Dark Artifices series. I want to join in. I want to be able to participate in these conversations. I want to read the Dark Artifices because I've heard amazing things about that, but I wanted to get through these 2 other series first, so I read the first 3 of the Mortal Instruments. I gave them all about 3 stars. They were decent enough. Then I read this one, and I don't know if it was my reading slump or if it caused my reading slump, but I did not enjoy it. I felt like this book could have been maybe 70 pages. I do intend on continuing because I'm a sucker and I have a hard time DNFing books and a hard time DNFing series, and I just want to be able to say I read these. And I'm really hoping that the series improves, or that since I'm out of a reading slump, maybe I will be able to enjoy it more. But yeah, there you go. The book I read after that, since that book was not good, I wanted a quick read to get me just to keep going, stay out of my reading slump, and that's when I picked up Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. I think I rated this 5 stars as soon as I finished it, and then later after finishing the next book I'm about to tell you about, I went and bumped it down to 4. It was entertaining, I really liked it, but I couldn't really call it a masterpiece, and really 5 stars needs to really not have any room for improvement. This is a book about a girl. She moves in with her brother and meets his neighbor, and things go from there. It's like a romance with a brooding twist, kind of. And it was suspenseful and smutty, and I really enjoyed it. I would recommend it if that sounds good at all to you. So the next book that made me knock that book down to 4 stars is The Raven King by Maggie Steve Otter, which is the 4th book in the Raven Boys series, 4 books. I read the first 3. I kind of spaced them out, and I don't know why, because I think what I kind of wanted to put down Blue Lily Lily Blue and automatically pick this up, and I think I should have, because something about this series, once you kind of let it go by the wayside, you kind of forget, like it doesn't have you pulled in, you kind of don't want to go back. And that's another problem I think I'm having with The Name of the Wind, which I loved it when I was reading it, and right afterwards I just wanted to pick up the next book. Now it's hard to pick it back up, I think partially because it's so long. But anyways, back to this book. It's the wrap up. I don't want to give you too much info about this because obviously it's the 4th book, but I loved the way the series wrapped up. I can't wait for the Ronin cycle that will be coming out in a couple years. I have pre-ordered all the Crooked Saints. I love Maggie Steve Otter's writing. Aside from the plot, which I really enjoyed, her writing is the first writing that I can say since I've gotten back into reading that just made me stop and look at the writing and admire how beautiful and intricate and artistic it is. I loved it. I think I'll probably go back eventually and read her other series, and I will definitely be reading her series that come out in the future. The next book I read was Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertelli, and I will just flip my hair and say that I tweeted on a post on Twitter about finishing up this book and recommending it to a friend, and Becky Albertelli retweeted me, so that was awesome. But this is a book about Simon. He's in the closet, not for any other reason than I think he just thinks it's awkward to like have a conversation about his sexuality. And he's talking to somebody else who's in the closet, and he ends up getting blackmailed, and things go from there. I really, really enjoyed this book. It was so cute. I can't wait to get to The Upside of Unrequited, which is on my bookshelf over there. I'll definitely, I think, get to it this summer. That's pretty much all I can say. I definitely recommend this book. And the movie's coming out soon. Not exactly sure when, but I know it's in the works. The next book I read to keep up with my classic a month is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. This is a book about a man who is painted by someone who adores him, and it turns out that his soul kind of gets sucked into the painting and ages for him, among other things, and leaves him as just the picture perfect that he was when he was painted. He's kind of an unlikable character. The ending threw me for a loop. I really enjoyed it. I think I rated it 4 stars, and I would recommend it. It's definitely a different spin on any classics. The next book I read this month is a series that I'm trying to push myself through, and that is Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan. I enjoyed this book. I think I rated it, it was 3 or 4 stars. I can look it up. I'll put it on the bottom. It's a fun read. It's just a little young for me, I think, and I really think I'm gonna enjoy his later series more. And I want to read them in order, so I'm pretty much just going to try to push myself through these so that I can get to know the characters. I know they make appearances in the later books, and I just kind of want to say that I've read them. They'll be good to have for my kids to read in the future. The next book I don't have because I borrowed it from the library, and that is a graphic novel or a comic, not sure exactly what to call it. That is Monstrous by, I can't remember right now, but I will put it on the screen. I gotta say it was my first graphic novel comic to read, and it was interesting. It was a little confusing and a little hard to get through, but I will definitely read the next one when it comes out, which I think is pretty soon. It's about arcanums, and then there's humans, and they're warring, and there's a mask. It's very hard to explain. I think maybe I'll link it in the Goodreads link down below because I can't explain it to you. And the next 3 books that I read this month were the first 3 in the Selection series, which is The Selection, The Elite, and The One by Kiera Cass. I rated these probably 4-ish stars each. I might bump it down to 3. They were addictive reads. Couldn't put them down. I think I read them all in like 4 days. I definitely would not call them masterpieces. A lot of times I was reading and I was like, this doesn't even make sense. Their actions don't make sense in relation to the past or even the current conversations that they're currently having. And I knew who ended up together in the end, but I couldn't stop reading them. So there you go. I think they're a fun, quick read. If you need to get out of a reading slump, pick them up. And those were the last 3 books I read for the month. So as an afterthought at the end of the day, I have decided to split up my June wrap-up and my July TBR. So this is the end of my June wrap-up. So thanks for watching and have a great day.